to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, my 10 favorite Queen songs. Man, oh man, was this a hard list to make. I love Queen. Their songs are just fantastic. Freddie Mercury is, in my opinion, one of the greatest, not the greatest rock singers of all time. The definition of an arena, larger-than-life singer. Brian May was on my recent video with guitar players with unique sounds. I love his sound and his style. John Deacon is a really underrated, creative bass player. Roger Taylor, an underrated drummer with a really cool voice. So this was a really hard list to make. And I feel bad because I left off some pretty iconic songs. But here we go. I did my best. I wanted to keep it to 10. Here's the list. Starting with number 10 from the album The Works, the song Hammer to Fall. This is a Brian May song. Great AC/DC-like style, main riff to it. I love the drive on it. I especially love the version from Live Aid. A lot of people would say, and I would agree with them, one of the greatest live performances of all time. And when they go into Hammer to Fall, it's right after that spot where Freddie's doing the whole singing with the crowd, Deo, Deo, and he does the thing at the end, all right, and the crowd goes back, all right, and he goes, hey, 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 Hammer to Fall, and then the band kicks in. Oh my, there's so much energy, so cool. I love the part in the song when it does the, what the hell we fighting for? That is just amazing. I can picture Freddie on the stage, the way he's moving around on the stage with his microphone. I'm getting a shiver up my spine just thinking about it. Just an incredible, driving, hard rock song. Number 9. From the Sheer Heart Attack album, I went with Killer Queen. This is a great song because it has so many different kind of layers to it. It starts off really gentle. She keeps them all in a shadow. It builds up. Brian's guitar solo in it is great. It almost has like, Brian had a great way of his lead sound getting changing the tone of his lead sound to make it sound like almost like a wind instrument or a violin or something. It was so unique. I love the background vocals in it. John Deacon's bass line is great. He's kind of moving all over the place. Again, an underrated piece of the band. The lyrics in it are really fun. Just a great song. Number 8, from the Jazz album, Bicycle Race. This is a Freddie song. What I like about this one is all the key changes and the quirky melody line. I want to ride my bicycle. The way Freddie jumps up in his vocal range like that. The way he does all those leaps in his range. And the way it does the bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my... Then it changes key. Bicycle, bicycle. And then the part where it builds by... bicycle races are coming today. All those vocals kick in. It is just... That is such a signature Queen, grand, majestic, epic. The whole song just sort of opens up and just becomes this big regal thing, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love the quirkiness of it and sort of the funny, the lyrics. It's just a bicycle race, but they they make it work, and it's great. Number 7 from the first Queen album. This and Queen 2 are probably the 2 heaviest Queen albums. I made a list, the 10 heaviest Queen songs. I'll link that down in the description. You can check that out. I didn't pick this song. I picked, I believe, Liar from this album. But I'm picking from my favorites, Keep Yourself Alive. Another Brian May song. Brian May's the guy that tended to write the heavier, hard rocking ones. Brian's tone is amazing. I love the way he has an effect on the guitar. I think it's like a flanger. It shifts around, and Freddie sounds amazing. Keep yourself alive. Just a great big chorus, cool riffing in it, tons of guitars. Love it. Number 6. I know I have this vinyl record somewhere. It's from The Game. I know I have this because when I was 10 years old, when this album came out, they were playing Another One Bites the Dust constantly on the radio, and they had this thing where you could call in and win the record. You had to be like the 10th caller or something like that. And I did, and I got it. And I remember it took months for them to actually get it, and my dad taking me to the radio station to go pick it up. So I know I have it. I just don't know if I put it somewhere or it doesn't belong in my collection here. So it's somewhere. I promise I have it. But I picked the opening track, Play the Game. The way this song starts off with Freddie, open up your mind and let me step inside. His vocal there, Freddie was so great at all these different things in his voice. He could sing really gentle in his falsetto voice and then just be really belty. It's amazing the way when the whole band kicks in, the bass in it, the bass sounds just great on this song. It's so big and warm, and John Deacon's bass line kind of moving around, and play the game, everybody play the game of I love that part at the end of your life. You know, just the feel of it is just fantastic. It's got this laid back, uplifting feel to it. Amazing, amazing song. All right, number 5 from the Innuendo album, the last song. This is the last album that would come out while Freddie was alive. And the last song on this, The Show Must Go On. It's credited as mostly Brian May. I'm not exactly sure what all that means, if he collaborated with Freddie or just all the guys on this. You know, one can't help but think of where Freddie was at the time when this song was being recorded. Right near the end of his life, being as sick as he was, and he puts on this vocal performance, just absolutely incredible. The lyrics of the song and sort of the sentiment of the song, The Show Must Go On, to have that be the last song on, you know, the Queen album. I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it. It's just amazing. It's a fantastic, very well written song, and a beautiful way, you know, to end, you know, the last album to come out when Freddie was alive. I know there was another album after this with stuff that they had recorded, but for me, this is really sort of the last Queen album. And number 4, from News of the World. This is a good example of where I felt bad. I didn't put on my list We Will Rock You or We Are the Champions, and though I'm a little bit tired of hearing those songs, you can't deny We Will Rock You. It's become legendary. It's one of these things at sporting arenas, that whole boom, boom, check. You know, as soon as everybody starts doing that at a football game or something. We Are the Champions, an incredibly well-written song, epic. Just saw the Tampa Bay Lightning in their boat parade. Yes, they came down to Tampa Bay in boats with the Stanley Cup. And of course, what song are they blasting? They're blasting We Are the Champions, right? But I did not pick that. I picked Spread Your Wings. This is a song written by John Deacon. A lot of people kind of write off John Deacon like the invisible member of the band. You know, and in the Freddie Mercury movie, they kind of portray him as this guy that just doesn't have any personality. And but he was a great songwriter. Now, he didn't write as much as the other guys, but the songs that he did write, some of them were really iconic. He wrote another one, Bites the Dust. He wrote You're My Best Friend. And he wrote other songs, and probably my favorite song from John Deacon is Spread Your Wings. It has a Broadway-like performance to it. Freddie is amazing. Probably a top 10, top 5 Freddie Mercury vocal performances. The lyrics in it are just moving, and the whole sentiment of this guy sweeping up the emerald ball, but he has dreams of spreading his wings and you know, moving on and everything. It's just great. The song builds beautifully. Brian May's guitar solo in it is one of my favorites from him. So melodic. Brian was a great guitar player. He had technique, but he was always so melodic. And his solo in this song, one of my favorites. Number 3, from A Night at the Opera, Love of My Life. This is a Freddie song. And wow, what a beautiful, beautiful song, a beautiful ballad. Freddie's vocals on this, so tender, so emotive. It tugs at your heartstrings when you hear it. an incredible range to Freddie's voice, the way he's able to do these softer things, and just the way he's able to put emotion behind every line and everything that he sings, and this one especially. And the background vocals in this are absolutely incredible. There was a video, the making of this record, and the guy, the engineer, pulls everything back. And you can just hear the vocals, and I'm pretty sure he says that all the vocals, the background vocals, were all Freddie on this. Typically, the band would sort of join in, and they would all sing on these big songs, but this one was all Freddie, and he lets you just hear the background vocals, and they are so in tune that they are like crystal. They sparkle. And ladies and gentlemen, this is way before computers and auto-tune and fixing things. Freddie did this all himself. An incredible display of musicianship, of emotion, of just songwriting. A beautiful, beautiful song. I love it. Number 2, From a Day at the Races. I picked Somebody to Love. If there ever was a sequel to Bohemian Rhapsody, maybe it's Somebody to Love. Or one that goes hand in hand. They could hang in the same stratosphere as the epic Bohemian Rhapsody. Maybe it's Somebody to Love. Somebody to Love is, the feel on it is amazing. It's got this sort of gospel feel. Freddie, again, his vocals in the intro with his falsetto, incredible. His performance, amazing. The background vocals, out of this world to make it sound like a big gospel choir. The layers of guitars and the piano. Freddie's piano playing too, something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Freddie was a great, unique piano player. He wasn't like a chopsy piano player, but he had cool piano lines. The part in the song where everything drops out and it does the find me somebody to, incredible. Shivers going up my spine. I mentioned Live Aid as being an amazing live performance. The George Michael, Freddie Mercury tribute concert performance of this is absolutely amazing. George Michael had a whole bunch of singers in the background singing all these lines, and when that part comes up at the end and the crowd sings along, amazing. An amazingly well written and performed song. All right, number 1. I almost didn't put this on the list because I felt like, maybe it's sort of been overplayed and everything, but I had to. Number 1, Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, maybe we've all heard it a little bit too much, but there's no denying it is, in my opinion, one of the greatest rock songs ever written, one of the most ambitious rock songs, certainly of its time. Ambitious in scope and execution, and they completely pull it off. It is something that even Queen themselves were never, they didn't even try. They did this. It was like, it doesn't get any better than this. We're going to leave it at that. Any other band that would have a big hit like this, they'd try to put out another album filled with songs like this. But they realized that this was pretty much the peak of the mountain for Freddie's songwriting here, for his ambitions, for what you can do in a rock setting. It's so grand, it's so majestic, it's so larger than life, it's so memorable. Every aspect of it is incredible. The lyrics, the vocals, the background harmonies, the orchestral, dramatic nature of it, the way it tells a story. It is just beautiful. The ending of the song, anyway the wind. There is not a second in this song that feels like it's wasted or there for no reason. It is just, in my opinion, a masterpiece, a gold standard of hard rock writing. So, all right, there you go. My 10 favorite Queen songs. Very hard list to make. I feel bad, again, leaving off some really epic songs, but I had to narrow it down to 10. Let me know down below, what are some of your favorite Queen songs, or what are your 10 favorite Queen songs? And until we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.